Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Coffee, Books, and Rain, where coffee is currently brewing. It is only a 40% chance of rain outside. I don't know why I'm actually giving you weather updates, except that we have rain in our title. And I am bringing you guys new hair and a book review. Because what do we do here? We talk about books. And I think I mentioned in one of my previous episodes that I was going to be taking out my hair extensions. I did. This is what it looks like without hair extensions and when I bleach it and tone it. Is it perfect? No, it is 100% not perfect. If you saw it in person, you would still see just a little bit of banding because I did let some of my roots get longer than I really intended. However, this light is doing me a world of wonders. I love my ring light for that. I didn't used to always use my ring light, but I kind of realized that it did give a little bit of a higher quality result. So you guys let me know, do you like the softer ambient light when it's a little more amber tones, a little bit more soft, a little bit more candlelit, or do you like it better like this? Leave a comment down below on whether you like candlelight or ring light. So you can just leave one of those two comments. Candlelight, ring light. What do you think? Anyway, I wanted to bring a book to you guys that actually I ran across. I just had a flower decide that it didn't want to be on the wall anymore. So we're gonna just set this right here. I didn't even turn on my lights behind me yet today. It is just that kind of day. I guess I could do all the things. I hope you'll forgive me. But today's book is actually Illustrated Girl by Josephine, and let me make sure I get her last name right, Angelini. Now this is a book that I ran across, and I think I had already, I had missed the archive date. So it had disappeared from my NetGalley, but was surprisingly still in my Kindle. So I really wanted to read it. The cover was super cute, and I'm going to put a copy of the cover here because I was still on track to be able to catch it for the July 2nd release date. Now, this episode will release after the release date for July 2nd. I think this is going to release a little bit later in July, but hopefully you guys will go out and see if it's something up your alley. It is YA fantasy, it is cute, it is fiction, it is very cozy, and it is maybe kind of what I would consider Portal World, but in a slightly different sort of way than what you would imagine. So there is a fairy tale sort of vibe that goes to the Illustrated Girl. And I was drawn to it for that very reason. The cover reminded me of what I would say is Black Forest, Grimm's fairy tales sort of aesthetics. I love kind of the simple filigree with the sweater and all that sort of thing. And so that's what we get with this cover. But I also loved the simple summary. Now, again, I'm not always the biggest reader of summaries, but I saw this cover, loved it, and I think there is something to be said about a person or about the marketing strategy behind today's age of creating covers to draw in certain audiences. Now, maybe in the past, we didn't judge books by their cover. I do tend to judge some books by their cover. I think I'm drawn to certain aesthetics that the marketing and publishing companies tend to put forth when creating book art. And this one was one that hit it from me. So just to give you guys a little bit of the summary before I dive into my thoughts. From best-selling author Josephine Angelini comes a whimsical, cozy read with loads of adventure and none of the triggers. Perfect for fans of Olivia Atwater and Travis Baldree. Love Travis Baldree. I have his books down here that you can't see, but below me on my shelf, yeah, no, you can't see it. Ever wished you could travel inside your favorite book and become the main character? Of course you have. Everyone has. But if you ever manage to pull it off, here's a tip. Timing is everything. Take Holly, for example, who, after saying a spell, is transported inside a fairy tale called The Chronicles of Lucitopia, a magical world infested with grifter grandmas, halitosis-ridden bandits, and devoid of any functioning toilets. Holly becomes Princess Pleasant, exactly as she wished, but she gets there too late. Right after an evil sorcerer turns Lucitopia into a tinnitus-ridden hellhole, and now it's up to Holly to make things right. So pausing because my dog is trying to lick his water bowl about as clean as possible. Don't worry, he is hydrated, he just thinks he's not. With the help of a freakishly handsome yet frustratingly virtuous knight, Holly sets out to fix her story, but she only has 15 days to do so, or she risks being stuck in Lucitopia for the rest of her life, which may prove to be a short one, considering she's long overdue for her shots. So, now this book is expected publication for July 2nd of 2024. It is considered book 1 of the Chronicles of Lucitopia, and it is approximately 264 pages. I thought when I read it, it went very quickly. It is funny, it is snarky. You do certainly get that Holly has been transported what I would call modern now-ish. She was living in what seems to be current day Hollywood, where her dad was some sort of executive in the Hollywood mainstream, so she kind of lived a fairly to-do life from what it sounds like in the book based on the backstory, but now she lives within the pages of this book. And she's kind of drug her feet up until this point to be able to actually get herself out of this situation. All she has to do is convince someone to kiss her. And yet, she's done nothing to move her story forward. And so now, with about 15 days left, she's decided to leave her tower, and yes, you can think Rapunzel-esque tower, and try to save herself. But the thing is I don't think the kiss can come from within the story. I'm not sure. Like, there's a couple things that I wasn't really sure about, but oh my goodness, did I have a really fantastic time reading this story. I definitely had moments where I was very much laugh out loud, and I giggled, I chuckled, because it is a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor. You do get some modern humor that is joined in with what is considered period humor, because the individuals within the book have the verbiage, they use the wording of what you would consider is period type dialogue or narrative. And so she tries to use comments that they don't understand, and so some things are lost in translation, which just turns into funny situations. And she is very independent. The knight, and I think his name is Torvald, he is constantly trying to be like, Princess, you can't do that. No, I need to protect you. And she's very much like, I can save myself. Like, back up. I can do this. But then she's also kind of telling the reader, she's like, okay, I get it. I know this looks kind of bad. I need to, like, stop making googly eyes at this guy. He's a big, beefy, hunky guy. I need to stop having those moments where we stare at each other in the eyes, or we're just going to start having, like, a terrible time. But yet he's very virtuous. He has all these, like, he's a protector of virtues. And so, of course, it makes him the life of the party in the fact that he doesn't ever do anything that is fun. He is just a protector of all the virtues like generosity and piety, and he literally has a list of all these trials that he's had to go through based on the different virtues. And she's like, wow, are there any more? And he's like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, never mind. Like, you know, you do you, guy. You just sound like you're just the basket of fun. And I truly feel like it would be that type of situation where if you or I were transported into a book situation where you knew the story pretty well, you knew how it was supposed to play out, that you knew this character was going to do this at this point, that X character was the bad guy, so you kind of knew all the nuance sort of things, but how the journey plays out was going to be a little different because now you're along for this ride. It's like it's going to have some humor, and so she's frustrated in certain ways, but she's also kind of running out of time. I'm not here to give you guys spoilers. I'm just here to kind of hopefully share with you some nuggets of interest, because I thought this book was fun. I can't wait to actually see what book 2 may have, because I enjoyed this book thoroughly. I read it very quickly. Did I see the influences of Travis Baldree? It's because it did actually say something to the effect of, for the people who enjoy reading Travis Baldree. And I would say maybe. I think that's where that kind of coziness comes in, because I didn't find any of that, I guess, cringy humor, which sometimes can turn me off. Some of it was very, I mean, there's no spicy scenes, so there's no really in-depth romance. It is just kind of a little lightweight action, lightweight adventure. We have bandits along the way. We're traveling to go face off against this Dark Lord like Asphodel or something like that. And we've got all these different characters kind of going along the way. There's one particular character that they encounter, and she's called like the White Witch. But they, like, when Holly's like, well, who was she? And they're like, oh, well, if you don't know, we can't tell you. And she's like, so y'all aren't going to tell me who she is? And they're like, oh, well, we can't. If you don't know who she is, you have to find out for yourself. And she's like, what? And they're like, no. Like, once you find out, like, then you know. And she's like, that makes no sense. Somebody just tell me. So, I mean, like, there's little funny moments like that where you definitely see those nods to fantasy fairy tale, like, tropes, which are funny because, of course, this book acknowledges a lot of those tropes and gives the nod that says, hey, we acknowledge that this is a trope that fairy tales utilize a lot of, the secret but everybody knows, but nobody actually says it aloud, and the big baddie, but like nobody really knows what the big baddie has done, sort of thing. So really well done. I think it goes very quickly. The action is well paced. The story is well paced. The characters, I think you get just enough to really move the story along well. I don't think we get too much, especially in the 260 pages that we are kind of presented. And like I said, we're supposed to be getting a sequel. Hopefully in the not too distant future. I would love to see it. But I wanted to bring you guys this book because I hadn't heard a lot about it. And I really would love to see or hear more about what you guys think about this book, because I think it could do really well if more people knew about it. So please go out there, please find it, please let me know what you think. I'm going to follow the author on Goodreads. Again, her name is, and I just want to make sure I get it right, scrolling up, there she is, Josephine Angelini. She has 24 books, at least according to Goodreads, and this book has pretty good reviews so far on Goodreads for coming out on July 2nd. Again, I'm probably going to release this episode sometime mid-July. I am trying to do so much better with my recording and releasing for the month of July, and hopefully moving forward through the rest of the year. So you will hopefully have a much more consistent scheduling release dates from me. But until next time, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I think my coffee is ready, so I'm going to go grab that, and I will see you guys on the next page. Leave a comment down below if this sounds like something that you guys would read. I am trying to reach, I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers. I'm about halfway there, but I'm also trying to get like 25 comments on like one episode. So if I do that, if I get 25 comments on one of any of my episodes, I think I'm going to do a giveaway. So that giveaway is going to be a $25 gift card to either Thrift Books, because you can get a lot of books for $25 on Thrift Books, or Barnes & Noble. So one of the two. I think whoever I randomly pick of those 25 comments, I will let them decide which place they want to get that gift card from. So if you leave a comment, then that puts you in the running, but we gotta have 25 comments. And no, you can't leave 25 of your own individual comments. But thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I will see you guys on the next page. Have a great one. Bye.